sad too, because it reminds me of how much I like it up here and being with you guys. But yeah, thank you for letting me come talk to you. So I wanted to jump right in and kind of my last lesson, right? So I'm going to do one with 7th grade too, probably in the spring sometime, because my spring break's different than your guys'. So I'll be doing that. But let me kind of give you an update. Most of you, I mean, not most, but many of you probably know kind of why I had to leave without saying goodbye, and it's super hard, but that's life sometimes, right? Sometimes life throws tough things at us. And I wanted to kind of share a little bit of the stuff that I've learned through this. So this is my wife Sherry when she was super little. And isn't she so cute? She's like a kindergartner here. And she got her big bows and stuff. And she was such a cute little kid, and I love her. And this is our first picture together. This was like 12 years ago in October, I think. We always counted Halloween as our first anniversary because that was our first kiss, was on Halloween 12 years ago. So it was 12 years ago, this picture around that time. I have a lot less hair and a lot less fat, so you can tell that's what happens with age a little bit. Then a few years later we got married. This was our wedding day. And then this is one that you kind of recognize me more or less, just recently. And then just, a year ago, my wife became pregnant, which was so awesome. We were so excited to have a baby, and she was so, so happy. And obviously she wasn't at school, but she'd always just be walking around rubbing her tummy, right? And talking to the baby. And she called him JJ, which was the code name as Jared Jr. So, and that's what I ended up calling him because of everything that happened. This is one of the last pictures of her. It was at Red Butte Garden, which was one of our favorite spots, and she had a huge tummy at that point. It was like a big old beach ball going on. And then in June, kind of after the end of school, we got checked into the hospital, and because we were just excited to have the baby, and everything was going fine. And then kind of some freak stuff happened. Hey guys, just listening. And some amniotic fluid, which is stuff that's in kind of the womb with the baby, got in my wife's bloodstream. And it got in her heart and her lungs, and it shut it down. Like her heart and her lungs just stopped working. And it was a total freak thing. There wasn't any signs that it was happening. And they had like 12 doctors come and try saving her. And they did CPR on her for an hour, trying to keep her alive, which was crazy, right? And within 5 minutes, they did an emergency C-section and were able to get JJ, my baby, out. And he actually ended up in the NICU. So this is him when he was in the NICU stands for Newborn Intensive Care Unit, right? It's where babies go when they're kind of have a lot of tough stuff going on. So JJ, that's what I call his name's James, but I call him JJ because that's all my wife ever called him when he was in the tummy. It doesn't make sense because it's James Francis. So it doesn't make sense with JJ, but nicknames don't have to make sense. But that was him in the NICU, and it was kind of a scary time. They did induced hypothermia, which is where they cooled his body and his brain down to 90 degrees, right? Like naturally our bodies are right around 98 degrees. So they cooled his body down so that his brain and his heart and everything would kind of slow down to enable him to heal. Because there was like 5 minutes where he didn't have oxygen when he was born because of everything that happened. But he's happy and healthy now. This is what you guys told me you saw him today. This is a recent picture of him when he's a happy, healthy baby. And this is me, all right? I'm a big video game nerd from Zelda. This is when you have low life and it's beeping at you. I'm having a tough time with life. Like life is hard for me right now. And I know some of you, from being a counselor at Midvale for 4 or 5 years, I know that many of you can relate to that sometimes. And one of the last lessons we did last year was about the adverse childhood experiences and how tough life can be for many of us, right? And honestly, up till this summer, I felt like I had the perfect life. I had a great family. I didn't have any big problems as a kid. I mean, of course, there are little things, but I felt like I had the perfect, wife, perfect, best friend, this woman in my life that was my dream girl in every way, and I had the perfect job with you guys. Like I really, really loved my job here at Midvale and working with you guys. And it is so hard because just within a day, I had Sherry ripped away from me and you guys too. And I didn't get to say goodbye or anything, and that was really hard for me. And so it was a really tough summer, and I'm still having a tough time. At nights, it's kind of crazy, but I moved back in with my parents so they could help take care of the baby. That's why I'm in St. George, because my family and Sherry's family are down there, and they both help with the baby a lot. But I'm back in my family's basement, and I'm beneath my parents' room, which is kind of crazy because sometimes often at night, my mom could just hear me crying down in the basement because I'm sad a lot. And she'll come down and just talk to me. And I'm going to a counselor every week because, it's good to have someone you can talk to like that. And that stuff helps, but I still just have a lot of, heartache and sadness. But I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the big things that I'm learning right now in life. And I learned a lot from my wife, some of the things that I learned from her. This is the Triforce, also from Zelda. I use this because my wife and I, when I first met her, I thought she was the most beautiful person ever and so cool. And when we first started dating, she liked Zelda too. So we talked about Zelda all the time and, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to tell you about the BD3Es. So these are kind of the things I want to leave with you. Experiences, elevation, and empathy. Those are kind of the big things that, were very important to me and Sherry. And Sherry wrote a lot. And one of the cool things, Sherry wrote a lot in journals. And she had, I think, like 7 or 8 journals. And she always told me, I wasn't allowed to read those, right? She would always say that she was going to burn those on her deathbed, and I'd never get to read them. But now that she's not here, I'm reading them, and I love them. So I'm reading all her cool stuff, and these are some big things that she has throughout her journal. Let's start with experiences. These pictures, if you can't make it out, there's an iPhone 2 and a PS2. How many of you think these are going to be number 1 on kids' wish lists everywhere this Christmas? Why not? They're old, right? They've been out for like at least 10 years. But let me tell you, and this may be hard to believe, at one point both of these, not in the same year, but different years, were number 1 on wish lists everywhere. Like the hottest items. But now that'd be kind of crazy. Like if your best friend's like, dude, I hope Santa brings me a PS2. I'd be like, do you mean a PS4? Right? You'd be kind of shocked. Or an iPhone 2 if they're like, oh, my mom told me I might be getting an iPhone 2. I'm so excited. You'd be like, didn't the 7 just come out? But that's just things with stuff, they get old. Right? And let me be very clear. I like stuff. We all like stuff and things. But they don't bring happiness. They get old. Right? This year, one kind of good thing that's come from my whole experience, my wife and I just bought a house and I just sold it, so I have all that money that we saved up and I'm just living at home, so I don't have a lot of expenses. So for the first time in my life, I'm not really worried about money. That doesn't mean I'm rich, but it's the first time I'm not worried about money in my whole life. So I bought myself, like the first time ever I bought like the newest phone. I got like this Samsung Galaxy 7, whatever, and it's cool and I like it. But do you think this makes me happy at night? No. Like again, it's a cool thing, and I enjoy it. And I'm not saying don't enjoy stuff. It's good to enjoy things and look forward to things. But that's not the stuff that matters. That's not the stuff that gives us good memories. On the other hand, people go to Hawaii every year for Christmas, right? Do you think 20 years ago people liked going to Hawaii for Christmas? Yeah. People like going now. It doesn't get old, unlike stuff that always gets old. Some of these quotes are hard to read with the font and everything, but who could be loud and read this for everybody?
Fill your life with experiences, not things. Have stories to tell, not stuff to show.
I love this, right? And this is a quote that was in Sherry's journal, not this picture obviously, but that quote. But fill your life with experiences, right? Me and Sherry, we bought a lot of stuff together, right? New phones, toys, things like that. I don't look, in my memory now, I'm not looking back and saying, oh man, remember when we went to Best Buy and got that, new phone? No. It's the memories, the experiences that I remember. This one is kind of hard to read, and just for time, I'm not going to go through all of it, but it's just kind of comparing and contrasting experiences versus things. But experiences help you express gratitude, right? Like whenever I would go on a big family trip with my family, and of course we'd bug each other, right? We'd get in little fights as siblings. But at the end, like when we go to California or on a trip camping, we were so grateful. We'd be like, oh, thank you so much, Dad. Mom, that was great. But so often with things, again, we're grateful for them at first. How often do new iPhones come out, though? Every year, pretty much, right? At least. So you may get the newest, hottest iPhone, but a year later, someone's already got one better, right? And that's hard because, that's the inherent nature of things. Where experiences, we remember. This one's very true. Even a bad experience becomes a good story. My wife and I, we did, I'll tell you about some of them, where even the most expensive things are created to be forgotten. And that's very true. Things are created. Do you think Apple would want to invent an iPhone that made you so happy you would never want to buy another phone? No. Of course not. That would be against everything they stand for, because they want you to keep buying their stuff. They want you to get sick of it and buy new things. Experiences, though, they may make you want to have more experiences, but it's different than that. So I'm going to share with you some of the cool experiences we have. And these are just some. And just to be very honest with you, these are all thanks to Sherry. My wife is so amazing. And I'm kind of, more lazy and putting plans together and stuff, but she put together these awesome plans, and I'm so grateful we have these cool experiences. This is in Arches National Park, right? This is in Utah. Utah, we have so much beautiful stuff, right? Cool national parks. Things 20, 30 minutes drive from here. You could get up in the mountains and see all these beautiful sights. So that was a trip we did. We backpacked through Europe. Right when we got married, this was kind of our big honeymoon we did. So this is the Alps in Switzerland. This is us right here. Beautiful Alps that you have to take like a trolley up to get to. This one is really cool. It's a little house. The fourth wall is the mountain. So 3 of the walls of the house are wood, and then the fourth wall is just rock part of the wall, which is so cool. I wish I would have put the picture of this in it, but there's a picture of the bathroom, and the toilet's right there, and the wall is the rock, and there's actually water that kind of dribbles down from the mountain. It's pretty cool. We went and taught English in South Korea, which was a really cool experience. And actually, it was kind of a hard one, it was the first time my wife had ever lived very far from her family. So it was a good experience, but also a hard experience. But again, just all the cool memories and things we learned from that, right? These are 2 different ones. We went to Costa Rica a couple summers ago. That's a beautiful sunset with the sailboat. I love that picture. And Bryce Canyon is one of my favorite places, and it's in Utah, right? It's a bit of a drive, but it's beautiful. It's like walking on Mars, because it's just red rocks everywhere and not a lot of living things. It's a pretty cool thing. Last summer, we went to Glacier and Banff National Park. These are like glaciers up here. We saw 3 grizzly bears and got eaten alive by mosquitoes. And it was a cool experience, right? And then this year, in January, my wife really wanted to go on a baby moon, which is kind of like a honeymoon you do before you have a baby. Well, some people do. And I, of course, being the lazy, cheap person I am, was like, I don't know, let's just save the money for our baby in our house. We have these 2 big things coming up. We better just save. But we went. And do you think I ever regret going to Hawaii? No. Do you think when I'm sad at night, I'm like, man, I wish I would have saved that money and not gone to Hawaii? Of course not. This is such a cool memory that we have all these pictures and stuff. This is Hawaii too, just a cool hike, cool background. And of course I'm sharing these kind of big, grand experiences, you guys. And I know some of us in our families, and this was me growing up, your family may not have money to go fly to Hawaii or things like that. But experiences can be the small things. They could be the big things. My favorite vacation I ever did with Sherry was a trip where we went to San Diego and camped on the beach. It was so cheap. We were living in St. George, so it was like a 5-hour drive from St. George. We slept on the beach, so we didn't even have to pay for hotels and stuff. We slept in the car on the way there to save money. How many of you have been to California? Just by show of hands. See, most of us done this kind of stuff. So when I share these experiences, I don't want you to think, oh, yeah, I wish I could go to Hawaii. There's no way my parents are going to pay for that. That's not what I'm talking about. I just share some of my experiences, but it's anything. I mean, honestly, I think if every one of us in this room, and we're not going to for time, but if we thought of our best experiences in our life, they're not about stuff, right? They're time we spend with family, with friends, doing things, going on trips, doing fun activities. Maybe the stuff is included, right? But it's not about the stuff. Wouldn't you agree? Thumbs up if you kind of agree with that. Thumbs down. I mean, of course people might disagree with that. That's fine. So what are some experiences you want to... And let's just hear from a couple of you. What's that? 1242 you said? Okay. What are some... Who did something cool this summer that they want to share? Like, what's a cool experience?
I went to Kauai.
Cool. Did you? Awesome. How was it?
It was fun.
Funny story. When I went to Kauai in January, and I met Tiana's cousin or something, because Tiana told me when I was going to Hawaii, I got to look up her family, so I did, and I met her cousin there. Didn't he go to Midvale? I think so. I think he said that. But yeah, weird connection. Anybody else do something cool? Yeah.
I went to a once-in-a-lifetime camp that's organized.
Awesome.
And all the people that I make friends with make a huge impact on my life.
Exactly. Again, those experiences, right? Those relationships. Yeah. Awesome. It's so cool. And you guys, and I know some of us, and this was again me during the school year, like sometimes we even have families that their jobs don't allow them to take big vacations and stuff, but it could just be little things, right? Like going on a hike with your family, going camping, going just do a fun activity with your mom or dad. It doesn't have to be these big grand things. Yeah.
I went on a hike to Donut Falls with my cousin.
Yeah.
And we got in the water. We went up by, right where the water's going.
That's awesome. See, yeah, Donut Falls is just up one of our canyons. Every one of you, could, I'm sure, convince your family to go on that hike. It's just a drive up the canyon. Yeah. Awesome. See, all that stuff's so cool. And these awesome memories, right? Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is elevation. And what I mean by that is kind of setting goals, right? Having high expectations for yourself. And from working at Midvale for 4 or 5 years, I can't even remember how many years I worked here. I think it was 5 actually. But the 5 years I worked here, I know that Midvale students have awesome goals for life. Big dreams, right? And that's beautiful and awesome. And I want you guys to work like crazy to make that happen. Do our dreams always turn out? Of course not. You guys, my job of being a school counselor, this was my, how you have like a plan B in case plan A doesn't work out? And I've told you this before in the past, but this is my plan E job. That means I went to plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, my 5th big choice. But I love it. And I worked hard to make these other ones happen, and maybe I found out I didn't like them or they just weren't gonna happen. But I'm so glad I'm here and I kept trying and kept coming up with new dreams, right? Because you guys do have beautiful, awesome dreams. It's just working to make them happen. This is just a fun photo I found online. This is kind of the Wasatch Mountains in fall. It's so beautiful. Like, you guys should Google that. Like, Wasatch Mountains fall from, I think I said bird's eye view or something. And then just seeing it above, you could see the different trees. And obviously there's a filter on it. But still, you could see just how the colors vary so much. It's beautiful. This is kind of a weird font, but who could read this one that isn't afraid of the crazy cursive? All right, go for it. Loud for everybody.
The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams.
Yeah, I love that one. This is a quote. My wife wrote a lot of her favorite quotes in her journals that I've been reading, and this is one that she had that she wrote a lot about. The beauty of your dreams, right? And we all have beautiful dreams. I hope you do. Sometimes life is so tough, and I know this is true for some Midvale students, that they are afraid to dream because they've had such hard things happen. And I get that, especially now. But it's important not to give up. Oh, let me share this video with you. Some of you have seen this before, but this is by just a minute thing by Steve Jobs. Who's Steve Jobs?
The creator of Apple.
Yeah. And he, all of us with our sweet, smart technology, he was one of the big people that helped contribute to that. He made a difference in the world. And so what he talks about in this video is the crazy ones. And I know many of you are the crazy ones, and I mean that in a very positive way. So let's watch this and you'll see what I'm talking about. But I love that idea.
Here's to the crazy
Isn't that
ones.
beautiful? I love that, right? The ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world too. Right? Because it's so easy. People, of course, will tell you all the time, your dreams aren't going to happen. No, that's not going to happen. And it may not. And that's okay. But you work and dream like it is. And it might. Right? Do you think Steve Jobs was successful right away? To change the world, to come up with Of course not. He got fired from Apple twice, didn't he? And he got hired back and, did amazing things. We talked about that last year. All the people like Michael Jordan got cut from his basketball team. All that crazy stuff. That you don't give up. Right? You believe in your dreams. These are some quotes that Sherry had in her journal. Caitlin's trying to injure me. She wants to, yeah, I know. But I really like these. I'll read them because it's kind of not that. I just took a picture with my camera. But I love these quotes that she had in her journal. And it's kind of crazy to think about it this way. But the purpose of life is not to be happy. That's kind of crazy, huh? It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you lived and lived well. That's by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who's a poet and writer. I love that idea. So often we get obsessed with happiness, right? Like, I need to be happy, I need to be happy, I need to be happy. Is life sometimes tough where we're not happy? I'm not happy right now, Riley. I mean, I'm happy to see you guys. I have happy moments. But my life right now is not a happy life. So this gives me a lot of power. And believe me, if you're somebody that's trying to love others and make a difference, do you think you'll be happy sometimes along the way? Of course. Because you have these bigger things than yourself. And you're not getting, don't have those little pity parties. And believe me, I've had plenty of pity parties. But trying to make a difference greater than yourself is so important. I'll skip that one. But then I love this one too. And this one, in the bottom left, this is kind of funny. Sherry wrote, side note, this would be a great young women's cross stitch, doing like a cross stitch. And so I actually put it on Facebook. And Millie Gonzalez from last year, she was in 8th grade last year, she's going to make a cross stitch for me about this, which is so cool. But who can read, Anna, will you read this? Can you read her writing?
Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
All right. And this, I think, is so powerful, especially coming from Sherry, right? Who only lived to be 29. What is it you'll do with your one wild and precious life? How many of you have known people that have died? Grandparents, family, friends, whatever, things like that. So many of us. Life is precious, right? What are you going to do with your precious life? And I've been telling all the classes this, and I mean it. If you are spending all your free time playing video games or on social media, you're wasting your precious life. And this is coming from someone that spends time playing video games and on social media. But the key, that stuff's good too, but it's all about balance. If you don't have any bigger dreams than being good at Call of Duty, you're wasting your life. Because you are so much better than that. If you have no bigger dreams than getting, 1,000 likes on a picture, you're wasting your life. Because there's much better than that. I'm Facebook famous, you guys. Some of you have that goal. I just had a video that was made about my wife that had 3.5 million views on it, which is crazy, right? But that doesn't bring happiness to my life. It's cool, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool thing that happened, but it doesn't make me happy. I'm not like, oh my gosh, my life, I can die happy now. No, it's just a silly thing. It's cool that Sherry's being recognized, but it doesn't bring me happiness. So dream bigger than social media and video games. Again, those things are fun. I like them. But if that's all you're doing, it's a waste. Life goals. Time, we gotta go. What time did you say? 42? Oh, 42? Okay, so we got time. So what are some life goals you guys have? I love hearing this kind of stuff. And just, I want you to think in your brain, think of 2 life goals. They could be small things, they could be big things. Graduating high school with good grades, going to college, getting a cool job, where you're making good money, you're making a difference. What are some goals some people have? Let's hear from 2 or 3 of you that wants to be brave. Yeah.
I want to start my own company.
Start your own company? Awesome. Any specific kind, or just you want to be?
I want to do the next chapter.
Awesome. So be an entrepreneur and inventor. That's great.
I want to make it into noteworthy.
Okay, awesome. I don't even know what noteworthy is. Is it some kind of musical? Okay, awesome. Awesome goal. Anybody else? Yeah.
Graduate from USC and then become an LA paramedic.
Great. Awesome. Yeah.
To help others while I'm so young and have a chance of people recognizing me when I'm older.
Yeah. Powerful stuff. Let's go in the back. Yeah. Photography and a computer programmer. Awesome. You guys, are all these dreams going to happen? Maybe not, right? Is that okay? Of course. Our dreams, it's important that we're always dreaming, though, and trying stuff new. Of course, there's times where what we want to happen doesn't happen. My goal, you guys want to hear my kind of sad and heartbreaking dreams? My big goals in life, I wanted to work at Midvale for at least a bunch more years, have 2 babies with my wife, she wanted 3, and just kind of travel and have great experiences with her and grow old and have grandkids. That was like the only big plans I had for the future. Most of those are gone now. Does that mean I just give up on life? No. Believe me, there's nights where I want to. I just want to be totally honest with you. There's nights that I wish I were dead. That doesn't mean I'm suicidal. Let me be clear about that, right? I never think I want to go hurt myself. But there's nights that I'm so sad that I just wish I wasn't around. And that could be really, really hard, huh? When life is tough. But then the day comes and the light comes up and I think of JJ and I think of you guys and I think of my awesome family, and that makes me feel better. Empathy. This is the third BDE. Who can read this? It's kind of long, but it's easier to read. It's a better font. Can you read it nice and loud? All right.
Others aren't as good as we should be in their capacity to emphasize with feelings and thoughts of others, be they humans or the other animals on earth. So maybe part of our formal education should be training in empathy. Imagine how different the world would be if, in fact, we were reading, writing, our romantic, and
All right, so this is Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's an astrophysicist. This is the head of the Hayden Planetarium, which is a big planetarium in the East Coast. He's a super smart guy. But, you know, and big on science and physics and all that kind of and astronomy. But here he is saying that we need to teach empathy more, right? That our world would be a much better place if we had a deeper understanding of empathy. Again, he's a genius, right? He's an awesome scientific arithmetic is math, right? Mathematician. But he's saying we need greater empathy. What's empathy again? Who can give me a quick definition of empathy? Yeah.
isn't it when we try to understand the person,
Yeah.
what they're going through?
Yeah, when you try to understand what other people are going through. Is empathy hard sometimes? Especially if somebody's pretty different than you? Yeah, right? Often it's a little bit easier to have empathy for like our good friends and things like that. But if somebody's totally different than us, sometimes it's hard to put ourselves in their shoes. It's a skill that you got to practice. I have this video that I've showed you before. I mean, every year I've been with you, I do a lesson on empathy because it's like my number one thing that I want to teach kids. But this video, I love it, and I'll read the part out of it. Again, you've seen it before, but it's especially emotional for me now. I mean, I got emotional in past years, but it's all about people in the hospital, right? I'll read it to you. Could a greater miracle take place than for us to look through each other's eyes for an instant? You know, that's a miracle to be able to do that. He has been dreading this appointment. Fears he waited too long. It's scary, right? You don't know if you're going to be able to get the help you need. Wife's surgery went well. Going home to rest. Day 29 of waiting for a new heart. Her heart's going bad and she's on a waiting list. Year-old son on life support. That means their son, they don't know if he's going to live or die. They obviously want him to live. Doesn't completely understand. Maybe it's not her first language or something like that. She's too shocked to understand. She's just so overwhelmed by the news. He's waiting 3 hours. That's something we can all relate to. Doesn't that suck? This one is so hard. Husband is terminally ill. That means he's going to die. And she's visiting her dad for the last time. And then a happy one, celebrating 25th wedding anniversary. I'm so jealous of that. But it's both. Empathy's both. It's being sad for others and happy for others, right? Wife had stroke, worried how he will take care of her. She recently was divorced. And then he's so happy. He just found out he's going to be a dad, right? So you have everything going on. Daughter's getting married on Saturday. He's determined to be there, even though obviously he's not in the best shape. Worried how he's going to pay for this. It's crazy expensive. And then this guy, I think, is equally sad. Tomorrow's his first vacation in years. Because maybe he has a job where he doesn't get vacations. $7,000 miles from home. How hard would that be to be away from your friends and family? You're in the end of a 12-hour shift. Nurses usually do that. They work those long shifts. 7 years cancer-free. That means he had treatment and he's been doing well for 7 years. This one's hard. Hoping to hold her today. Her baby's in the incubator, so she hasn't been able to hold her baby yet. They saw something on her mammogram. That's like a cancer test where they found something. They don't know if it's cancer or not. They just signed DNR. That's do not resuscitate. That means there's somebody they love that they're not going to live. So they're pulling the plug because they're not going to live. Always wanted a child of her own. Yours all better. Fine. Car accident 6 months ago, so that's a long time. The pain won't go away. I know people that are in that circumstance. Tumor was benign, that means not cancer. The tumor was malignant, that means cancer. If you could stand in someone else's shoes, hear what they hear. See what they see. Feel what they feel. Would you treat them differently? And of course, I think the answer to that is yes, right? Like if we knew what people are going through, of course we would treat them differently. And let's just be honest, can middle school kids be kind of jerks to each other sometimes? Yeah. Heck yes, they can. I mean, none of us are innocent, I don't think. But it's so important. It is very rare that you would know, even like your good friend, if they have something tough going on in their family. As a counselor, I got to know that because kids would come and it was confidential. Life can be so tough for so many of us. And I love this quote, be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. And that's true. Even if they're not right now, at some point in their life they have or will be. Life gets all of us. One of the teachers at my new school, they have a sign on their door that says, life means falling down, no exceptions. There's a little asterisk. And that's true. We all fall down in life, right? We all have tough things that happen. It's about keeping going. I want to do this real quick with you. I've done it with some of you. It's a cool, I would always teach kids this when I meet with them. I want everyone to do this, and this is me kind of hard in this big group, but put your hand on your heart real quick. We're just going to do a real quick version. I love this, and I do this a lot when I'm sad. And I want you to just close your eyes, or leave them open if you're more comfortable. But I want you to just picture somebody that you know loves and cares about you no matter what. It could be a grandparent, a friend, a family member, mom, dad. But just hold their face in your brain. Make that picture. And I want you to just imagine them kind of looking at you with love and concern that they're worried about you. And just hold that for like 10 seconds. Okay, that was a short version, but the reason that's useful, you guys, we as humans, often we get adrenaline, right? Which helps us, our heart speed up, our breath quicken. And we need adrenaline when we're in danger, when we're having tough things, when we're doing a play or a basketball game. We need adrenaline. But there's times when we're having tough times and adrenaline makes things worse because it stresses us out. But they've done these cool brain studies where you could actually bring in oxytocin, which is a hormone our body naturally produces, by doing that and picturing loved ones. And it helps calm your heart and your mind. And it kind of has the opposite effects of adrenaline. So when you're having a tough time, that's a way you could kind of practice empathy on yourself by imagining someone that loves and cares about you. You could imagine me. I've imagined students that I know love and care about me. Like seriously. And it makes a difference. Now, of course, I imagine my, Sherry. And it makes a huge difference. I have just 2 more quotes. Who could read this one for me? This one's the easier one to read. Anybody want to read it nice and loud? Okay, go for it.
Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all the darkness.
All right, Desmond Tutu. He's a pastor in South Africa. Awesome quote, right? Sometimes life feels so dark and hopeless. Right now, my life feels that way. And you guys, in all honesty, I bet if I just kind of gave up and started drinking a lot and getting drunk, people would be like, "Oh, yeah, don't blame him. His life's hard." But I can't give up hope. I can't give up and just think my life's always going to be miserable, even though it feels that way right now. And honestly, you guys help me with that. Working with you Midville students have inspired me for years. My baby, JJ, he inspires me. He gives me hope. Because I am sad a lot right now. But I hope my life gets better. And I believe it will, because I can't live any other way. I love this one too. Who could read this one nice and loud? And this will be our last one. All right, go for it.
It is better to light one small candle than to curse the darkness.
All right, I love that too. Don't raise your hands for this, but I bet we can all imagine someone we know that's had tough things happen, and they just get bitter and kind of give up in life, right? Whether they turn to drugs or just waste their life doing stupid stuff or just being sad all the time. It is easy to feel that way. Believe me, there's nights where I feel that way. But I can't give up, because that, for me, would kind of be throwing away this awesome love that I had with Sherry and with you guys. I can't throw that away. So I am trying to light a candle in myself, even though I feel so dark. And like I said, you help me with that. And it's so good being back with you guys. And I hope this is useful. And I know it's sad, and I hope I didn't just bum everyone out, but you guys, thank you so much for letting me come and talk to you guys today. I think the bell's going to ring shortly, right, Caitlin? Caitlin's my timekeeper. Kind of just in closing, I want to share with you the video that Sherry made that she put on Facebook or YouTube. And it's just a silly, video. But if you guys have talents, use them, right? If you're a good singer, writer, rapper, artist, athlete, whatever, don't hide that stuff. If the world needs more of that goodness. So this is a silly video Sherry made. This is a song she wrote. It's Baby Don't Worry, which is so good for me and JJ right now. She wrote it like 6 years ago too. But she just barely put it on YouTube like 2 weeks before JJ was born. If you search Sherry Buchanan-Decker, you can find it. Along with like 4 other songs. But I love this one because she wrote it. Just silly, cheesy stuff, right? But I'm so glad I have this. Don't be afraid to be silly, right? She looks like an angel here. I love that part. The light and darkness again, right? That's what she's saying. I got some good news.
I think
You can't hear it.
I think it rang. Oh,
Sorry.
and my computer just wigged out, so it's all good.
It's good. But thank you so much, guys. I think the bell. You guys are awesome. I'm gonna come out and be at lunch and say hey to you guys too. But I love and miss you guys so much. I think you know that. I'm not gonna teach
Sorry, I'm in your way.
Do not stop it.
Is that, oh, awesome. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you. Yeah, no problem. How's 8th grade going? Good? Yeah. Nice to meet you. Good. Thanks, Kate. Thank you. Welcome.